Here with Miami coach Anthony Noreen, the Redhawks head to Ferris State this week to open the season, and we will take some questions.
All righty, Coach. The week is finally here. I'm sure this has been circled on the calendar for a long time for you. Well, it's been 6 months or so since you were first announced as head coach. What has everything been like for you now as are the expectations, I guess, being what you had in your mind 6 months ago to where you're at right now?
I mean, listen, I think we certainly had a plan. I had a plan, and then you get a staff together, and the staff has a plan. And what we tried to do from the very beginning is not just make it our plan or my culture or my way of doing things, but try and have the whole group involved on how we can make this thing better. How we could not just get the results that I think we know all the guys want on the ice to be better, but how do we just get this program back to the respectable level they want it to be to? How do we, how are we going to be off the ice? How are we going to continue on a lot of the good things that are already in place here as far as what these guys did in the classroom and being good representations of Miami hockey and things like that. So, that's been it really has just been an everyday process. And our time has been divided up amongst a lot of different things. It's been, obviously a lot of recruiting and trying to be present on the recruiting trail and make sure that the future of Miami hockey is in good hands. We've got the right type of people, players, families coming to be part of this, trying to be present with our current group and make sure, like I said, we get their feedback. What did they like that was done here previously? What maybe can be better? What do we think maybe, hey, that was good, but we think this could be different and better. And, those are just kind of ongoing conversations. And then obviously trying to get out in the community, and that's, whether that's me and reaching out to alumni and former players and things like that, or if it's the players being out and being active and, moving Miami and different causes and things like that. So it's really been a lot of moving parts, but the biggest thing for us is we know that we needed to set a foundation for what things are going to be like, what the everyday, day in, day out expectations are going to be like, and, establish the identity of our program, which is what we talked about the very first time we all talked in a press conference. And, that's, again, it's not a, hey, our first game is Friday. It's like, hey, okay, we just had our meetings today. We had our practice today. What can we learn from it? What can be better? How can we travel well tomorrow? What can we do in practice to make sure we're ready for Friday? And obviously it's all building towards a game, but, we're still, even though we're this close, it's like, have we thought about it? No, because we're worried about, like, how do we get better and what do we need to do tomorrow?
Sure. One day at a time. That's the way to do it. With that, though, you mentioned the word expectations. So obviously expectations down the road, a lot of people have seen and heard things. I know there's a lot of things you can't comment upon as far as future recruits coming in here, but you had to bring in some players that in this college athletics world now, it's very, very different than it was just 3-4 years ago with transfer portals. So you've got a nice mix of freshmen and some veterans coming in here. So can maybe talk a little bit about how that whole process has worked out.
Yeah, I mean, the transfer portal is a unique thing to college sports within these last couple of years. And as I talked about before to you guys, like we don't think it's not going to be the end all be all. We're not going to completely rebuild our program through that. But we feel it's an area that we could supplement our program if there's a specific need or 2 or 5 or whatever that is from year to year. And, we felt some of our specific needs were puck moving D and a guy who could help run a power play. We felt like we addressed that to the best of, and again, time will tell on if we, got the right guys, picked the right guys. We feel fully confident in the ones we got out and got. And then, up front, we wanted to add some speed and we wanted to add some playmaking ability. Again, add to that power play type look. But we probably just as, if not more importantly, wanted to get some guys from some programs who have lived it, who have done what we all want to do, and that's me included, which is consistently win at this level, consistently be competitive at this level, but more so than that, be a part of a culture and have a foundation that you're a part of every single day that's going to make you better suited, not just for Friday and Saturday night games, but for life beyond hockey, for, whatever comes next. And, I think the guys that have come in here, there's certainly guys, listen, I've learned a lot from them. I think our returning players have. And I think what's been cool too is to see some of the returning guys, even hearing from other returning guys step into leadership roles and step into bigger roles and take a lot on their shoulders. And, one of the things we've talked a lot about here in the early going is like, this is a blank slate for everybody. And that includes the guys coming out of the portal. Just because they came here and we thought, hey, you could be this, like nobody was handed anything. And that's from our net to our D to our forwards. We didn't care how many points you scored last year, where you came from, or you a walk on, like none of that stuff mattered. It was, here's the expectations. Here's what you're being evaluated on. The guys that go on and do it are going to be the guys that get rewarded. And again, that's going to be an everyday thing. That's going to be in every practice. That's in every lift. That's how they leave the locker room at night. Like that is That's not going to change. And it's been cool, like I said, to see different guys who maybe you've heard in the past were kind of just passengers. Or maybe, hey, this guy was kind of a leader who's running that have stepped up into bigger roles. And that's both, locker room, that's on the ice, but it's also been just how guys have been off the ice and how they've taken the new guys under their wing and things like that. And those parts to me are always the really fun part about being part of a team. You might come in thinking this, or this guy's going to fit here, or we really think this guy's here, and it might all get thrown out, or a different guy might challenge for it. And I think that's a special thing about the ultimate team sport, which to me is hockey.
Obviously, it's still the same game. It's still leading a team. It's still leading young men. But it's different than being at the juniors level. And when we last talked in here, when you were announced as the head coach, what are some things that have stuck out for you, maybe surprised you over the course of these 6 months since you've gotten settled and actually been able to get the guys out there on the ice?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple parts of it. Obviously, at that point, I only spent a couple of days here, and I'd never been on campus once with the students here. So just to see how amazing and vibrant and beautiful and there's not a day that I don't walk through walk out the back of the rink and walk through the quad and walk through this campus and be like, man, this place is unbelievable. And same thing, could be said for walking in this locker room and the weight room and everything that was set up long before I got here by the people that were, built this place. And they made it into the special place that we all believe that it is. And we feel just really fortunate to be part of that. And again, you don't know, is that just man, we were here one day, is it? But that is something that we observe every day and we think is what makes this place special. And then the other parts of it, I mean, as it's gone on and I've gotten to talk to, meet face-to-face, interact with, whether it was alumni weekend or whether it's, going to different cities, meeting a lot of people at youth hockey tournaments who've played here and maybe their sons play now, the love for this place. And I thought it right away because the guys, as we talked about from the beginning, the guys that were here previously didn't all jump on the portal. They wanted to stay. So right away, you kind of got the sense, all right, guys must really, everyone says they love where they're at. Everyone really but that kind of gave us a sense. And then meeting people that had been here before. And whether that's going back to Coach Katie's days or people from Rico's era or, people with Coach Bergeron, guys love and believe in this place. And it's special to them. It's special to their families. A lot of them met their wives here, things like that. So that's been, it's humbling, but it's awesome. And it's been still surprising. And then the biggest thing, as a coach, it's really easy to come in and say, hey, we want to do this. And this is what we're about. And this is how we're going to be. That's the easy part. The hard part is for a group of guys to actually embody that and live that. And listen, that doesn't guarantee us a win. That doesn't guarantee us a goal. Doesn't guarantee us a save, anything like that. But what for us it says is, your job as a coach to maximize your players. And what you want your guys to do is feel like when the puck drops, every single thing you could do that you could check off in your mind before it drops to be like, yes, I should have success and I should be confident. That's all you could ask for. And the surprising thing to me, and it was a hope, but the surprising thing for me has been how day to day, and not just opening a training camp or not just after my first meeting or first workout, that these guys have come. And it hasn't always been perfect. There have been plenty of mistakes. There have been days where the execution's been off. But the ability of these guys and the buy-in of these guys to show up every day and do it to the best of their ability and do it, as right as they could. And like I said, it hasn't always been perfect. That's probably been the most impressive thing to me of anything. And I think that says a lot about what was already in place here as far as people. I think it says a lot about how much those guys believe in this place and believe in themselves. And I think it says a ton about the new guys coming in and kind of not just latching onto what we were talking about, but, trying to push this thing to another level. And again, we'll see where it goes from there. That part's been pretty cool.
You mentioned the goaltending a little bit earlier. I'm curious kind of what you've seen from those three. I mean, they're all three of them are competing for the job. Like you said, there's a blank slate here. Just curious to hear your thoughts on what you've seen from those three.
I think it's been competition, but it's been support. And that's what you want in your goalie room. You want three guys. I want all three of those guys to want to be the starter. And when we put that lineup up Friday night, we expect, we've done the work, we're vying for that position. Having said that, we've also seen those guys in we video everything. We watch everything. And to be able to see one of those guys make an unbelievable save in a scrimmage or a practice, and one of the other guys that doesn't even know anybody's watching all the way at the other end of the rink, maybe on the bench, banging on the boards and being a good teammate and caring for him and supporting him, I think that's in a good spot right now. And listen, all this stuff's in a good spot now. when you post the first lineup and a guy's out and things like that, that is when it really becomes challenging. But I think the foundation's there. Now it's on us to keep that being what we're about. We support our teammates. We're behind our teammates. We're competitive against each other. At the same point, when the other guys turn to go, we are rooting. We're not rooting for them to fail. So we're the guy that get in. We're supporting them, but we're also making sure we're better so that we push them. And again, just if we want to be an extremely competitive program, which we do, and we've talked. Everyone's asked me, what are you looking for in players? That's been the biggest thing. As far as the honest, we want extremely competitive guys and extremely competitive practice guys and guys in the weight room. Goalie's the most important position. Be like a quarterback in football. If those guys are competing and those guys are showing second, third, fourth effort in drills and in picking each other up, it's very easy to trickle through the rest of the team. And I think those guys have done a good job of that. And listen, it's been a different guy that's maybe been better than the other every day. We'll see how it plays out, but we feel confident in those guys.
One more. Curious I know you said you're taking it day by day, and obviously you've got road trip and all that stuff. But what does success look like for you within that locker room for this first weekend? What does a successful weekend look like for you, just in terms of locker room?
To us, it's playing to our identity and making all the things that we've talked about, we've celebrated, and we've said we want Miami hockey to be about here moving forward, seeing those things in action. And then when adversity comes, which it's going to come, whether in the form of a bad call or a bad goal or a goal against or, being down in a game, whatever it is, continuing to push forward towards those things. That to me in the short term is what success is going to look like. And then, once we get through a game, being able to take those things, learn from them, be honest in our evaluation and our assessment of each other, of where we can be better, what we did well, what we liked, what we didn't like, and then pushing forward to be better the next day. That, to me, everything we have as goals is very short term, very in front of us. And for right now, we just want to keep it right there.
First games of the season for both you and Ferris. So obviously not a lot of tape on what to scout Ferris State, but they're bringing back. Seems like their roster. They've got a lot of older guys, a lot of fourth and fifth year guys, and then a really big incoming freshman class. Not much in the middle, but what do you know about, or what have you been able to see or glean from last year's tape on them to know what to expect from them this year?
Yeah, I think you hit on it. They're a big team. They're a heavy team. They play hard. They do a really good job of getting pucks and bodies to the net offensively. From what we've seen, they're really good on special teams. I don't think there's an area, where you could say, hey, they're really weak here. They're a well-structured, well-coached, organized team, as they always have been going back to the CCHA days. We know, and it's a team that not very long ago was playing in an NCAA championship game. So it's a really strong program. Perennially, from what I know, it's a tough rink to go in and play in. I've been in there as a youth player, but never as in a Division I college hockey game. And, we respect them. But having said that, what we're really focused on is us right now. We're going to, here's a couple things that we know they've done in the past, but for the most part, let's be really good at what we do. And, we'll be able to adjust at media timeouts in between periods or between games if there's anything that's really glaring that we think, we need to equip our guys with. But right now, let's focus on us. Let's be really good at what we do. And let's pick each other up no matter what comes up.
All right, one final thing, and I know a lot of folks are wondering about it, and I know you're still learning a lot about your team. Leadership, usually, I think when you think of leaders, that then it goes to team captains, assistant captains, and I know a lot of talk outside of here is wondering about what are going to be the thoughts on the team captains for this.
Yeah, and we as a staff are big believers that leadership just reveals itself, that at some point it just becomes extremely clear. This will probably, I'll say probably, I wouldn't plan for it, but you never know what's going to happen, probably be the last year we get to this point without captains in place. Having said that, I don't know how you could truly understand who the best representation of your, because that's ultimately what a captain is. It has nothing to do with me or you guys, no offense or anyone. It is who best represents those guys in the room. That's what it is. But I don't know how you could really get to that until you get into real games, until you get into real action and you see how, we've talked a ton about what is our reaction. Like that's a word we've used, and these guys will hear me say it a million times in video sessions and practice. Like things are going to go wrong. Good. What is our reaction? That's what matters way more. You're going to turn a puck over. What is our reaction? We took a dumb penalty. What is our reaction? So We need to see that. We need to feel that. They need to see that and feel that from each other. And I think once we get through that a little bit, and listen, I hope it's Monday, but maybe it'll be the following Monday. You guys will be the second people to know. I know everyone keeps asking that, but I think there have certainly been a lot of guys that have pushed themselves. You guys just talked to Sully. Like, you talk about someone who cares, someone who does everything right, somebody who embodies what we're trying to do in this program, someone who's been a winner everywhere he's been. And it is zero disrespect to him and that we haven't put C's and A's on guys' jerseys yet. We want to do it as a group, and we want to do it when it is truly unveiled, like who the guys are that best represent the guys in the room. When we feel it gets to that point, like I said, it might be next weekend. It might be in a month. That's when we'll get the letters on the guy's jersey. And to me, it's the biggest honor in all sports. I don't think there's a bigger one. It matters in this game. So it's important to the guys in the room. It's important to us. I know it's important to everyone that loves this program. We just want to make sure we give them the right amount of time and information so that when they pick who their leaders are, they've got the information to get it right to the best of their ability.
All right, I lied. One more question. We haven't had a chance to talk to it about it, and this season is upon us right now. Next season, something special is going to happen that has not ever happened for this program before, getting a chance to play in the Friendship Four, going over to Ireland to play. Your thoughts on how that all kind of came together and what that means for the program?
Yeah, really. I mean, obviously an unbelievable opportunity. And we as a staff know, and the players, we all know a bunch of teams and staffs and people. Like Troy's been there when he was with Dartmouth. Everyone we've talked to that have gone to that event, they're like, it is a first-class event, unbelievable life experience. And I give David Saylor and Brad Okel a ton of credit. Like, we were in Florida in Naples at the coaching convention, and the gentleman from the Friendship Four came and presented to all the conferences. And they said, they showed a video. Here's what this event's about. We're open to having some guests. We're full for next year, but in the future. And David said to me right away, he said, one of the things that's special about Miami University is we love for our students to get a chance to study abroad. Hockey's a sport that spans both semesters. So our guys just don't get that opportunity. Maybe they get a chance to go in the summer, but they're not going to be able to go during the fall or spring semester. And he said, hey, I think this is something as a university we would really be able to and want to get behind. So go talk to those guys and see. So I just sought them out. I sat down with them over breakfast. We chatted about it. We had a follow-up call. And they just said, hey, you know what? Somebody dropped out. Would you guys be willing to come right away next year? And it was something that, I thought, was something we couldn't pass up on, and a special opportunity. Like, listen, student-athlete experience is something that we want to be at the forefront of all the decisions we make. And what a life experience for those guys. Obviously, it's going to be competitive hockey. We saw videos. There's sellout games. We get a chance when we're over there to do a lot in the community, whether it's reading at local schools, autograph sessions with kids, skates with young kids, and I just think those are special experiences for the people that get to be involved over there, but also just for us, the university, our hockey program, and mostly for our student athletes and the experience they get out of it.
Here with Ryan Sullivan ahead of Miami's trip to Ferris State, and we will take a few questions.
Ryan, ready to get her going, I'm sure. A lot of changes from last season to this season, your second year here with the program. So kind of your thoughts just as what has transpired from last year to this year and getting ready for the new season.
Yeah, it's getting a lot of new guys accumulated to the program, but it's been a fun time. We've just been putting our head down and working, and us players know it's, with change, but it's on us to show up and compete and get better results for this program.
And with the change, kind of everything there's an adjustment period for all that now. So you've had, a good month, 6 weeks or so to work with Coach Noreen. What's it been like? What's the vibe like working with him now?
Yeah, it's been exciting, high energy and high compete levels, and we've just been stressing the details and importance of certain areas on the ice that can help us succeed. So it's been fun just to learn new things and grow as a team. So it's good.
Greg mentions your second year with the program, but both coaching staffs have said that you step in and you're a leader right from the start. So what about your mindset and what about your game do you think makes you a leader to be able to step into a new school, a new team, a new program, and be a leader right from the start?
I just try to always be there for my teammates. I think that's just being a good teammate and how you could carry yourself and just expect the same from the guys next to you. I think it can help wherever you are. So been fortunate with some great people here. So it's been a good time.
Looking at Ferris this weekend, we played them last year, and a split last season, and but 2 winnable games. What do What are you expecting from them this year as you go into this game?
Yeah, it's a hard place to play on the road there. They do a good job with the small rink, so we just got to come in ready to fight, and we learned a lot from that series last year, so getting off to a good start will be huge for us, especially on Friday.
I mentioned some of the changes that happened over the offseason, I guess. What is it like when you have guys like Christoph Filion, Colby Ambrosio come in? I mean, Filion, like yourself, is a national championship winner. I mean, how much has he helped you? How much has he been helpful for the guys that are new and all of that stuff, just kind of in your experience with him these last 4 weeks?
Yeah, it's been great. And again, both those guys have a lot of experience and knowledge so they can chip in anywhere with guys and, bring a lot of good energy. So they've been helpful in the room for sure.
Greg kind of mentioned it. Change can be tough. From last season to this season, there's been obviously a lot of changes. The coaching staff, mostly all new. And what has been like sort of the acclimation process from the announcement of Coach Noreen and the building of the coaching staff to where you guys are right now?
Yeah, like you said, it's been a lot, but it's just been taking the messaging and digesting and seeing how us as players can use it and put our best foot forward. It's a lot of change, but I think just without getting ahead of ourselves, it's been good just a day at a time, and seeing what they're saying and learning from it and trying to grow is just as simple as you can break down change. So it's been good.